Good morning students. Today we will solve numericals based on gravitational force from chapter 10 gravitation. For this you have to take out your textbook and open page number 143. Now I am starting with question number 1. How does the force of gravitation between two objects change when the distance between them is reduced to half? According to universal law of gravitation, every object in this universe attracts other object with a gravitational force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. It means that gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the objects. It means gravitational force and distance between the objects have inverse relationship. Distance between the objects increases, then gravitational force decreases, and if distance decreases, gravitational force increases. So this kind of inverse relationship they have. On the same logic we have to solve this problem. Let us consider gravitational force is F, which is equal to Gm into m upon d square. F stands for gravitational force, capital G for gravitational constant, capital M mass of first object, small m mass of second object, upon d distance between the two objects square. Now capital G into m, they are constant, so we have written them as G m into m upon d square. Earlier distance between the two objects was d, now it is reduced to its half value. So in place of d we will write half d square. So distance between the two objects is reduced, is changed. As a result, gravitational force will also be changed. Now new gravitational force is F nu. F nu is equal to Gm into m upon half d whole square. It will be equal to 1 upon 4 d square. F nu, solve it, we will get 4 Gm into m upon d square. F nu is equal to 4 Gm into m upon d square can be replaced with F. So now what is the new gravitational force? It is 4 times the old gravitational force. So it increases by 4 times. Now on the similar lines we have question number 6 that I am going to solve. Its first part says that what happens to the force between two objects if the mass of one object is doubled. So first of all I am going to solve its first part. So what will be the change or effect in the gravitational force when the mass of one object is doubled? Gravitational force F is equal to Gm into m upon d square. F is equal to Gm into m. Mass of any one of the object is doubled. So we can double either mass of first object or mass of second object. I am doubling the mass of first object. So F is equal to G into twice m into m upon d square. If mass is doubled, then gravitational force will also be changed. So new gravitational force will be F nu. F nu is equal to G into 2m into m. It can be written as 2 gm into m upon d square. F nu is equal to 2. In place of gm into m upon d square, we can write F. So, new gravitational force is 2 times the old gravitational force. It means it also gets doubled as the mass of the object doubled. Second part of question number 6. What will happen if the distance between objects is doubled? So, gravitational force is gm into m upon d square. Gravitational force is g m into m because they are constant upon d. D means distance. Distance is doubled. So, in place of d we can write 2d whole square. So, if distance is changed, gravitational force will also be changed. So, I have written F nu. F nu is equal to gm into m upon 2d whole square. It will be equal to 4d square. So, this equation can be written as F nu is equal to 1 upon 4. In place of gm into m upon d square, we can write F. So, new gravitational force is 1 upon 4 the old gravitational force. In the second part, it is also asked that if distance between object is tripled, then what will be the change in gravitational force? Gravitational force F is equal to gm into m upon d square. Now, gm into m will be written as same because they are constant upon d square. It is the distance present between the two bodies. Now, it is tripled. So, in place of d we can write 3d whole square. Now, if distance between the two objects is tripled or changed, then gravitational force will also be changed. Now, new gravitational force will be F nu is equal to gm into m upon 3d whole square. F nu is equal to gm into m 3d whole square. It is equal to 9d square. F nu is equal to 1 upon 9. Gm into m upon d square can be written as F because it is equal to F. What have we got? F nu means new gravitational force, that is 1 upon 9 the old gravitational force. Now, third part of question number 6. If the masses of both objects are doubled, then what will be the change in gravitational force? Gravitational force F is equal to gm into m upon d square. Now, we will write g as it is. Masses of both objects means capital M, small m, both are getting doubled. So, we will write in place of m twice m, in place of second m also twice m upon d square. So, if masses are changed, then gravitational force will also be changed. So, in place of F, we will write F nu, which I have already written. Now, F nu is equal to G into twice m into twice m. It can be written as 2 into 2, 4 gm into m upon d square. F nu 4 gm into m upon d square is equal to F. So, in place of this we can write F. So, new gravitational force is 4 times the old gravitational force. So, in all these parts and questions, you have seen that as you increase the mass, gravitational force also increases, and if you decrease the mass, gravitational force also decreases. It means gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of two objects. And if you decrease the distance, then gravitational force increases. If you increase the distance, gravitational force decreases. It concludes that gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance present between the two objects, as per universal law of gravitation. Now coming to next question. Question number 12. Gravitational force on the surface of the moon is only 1/6 as strong as gravitational force on the earth. What is the weight in newtons of a 10 kilogram object on the moon and on the earth? See, as I told you already that gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of two objects. So, earth having more mass applies more gravitational force on the object, which results in more weight. Whereas on the surface of moon which is having less mass exerts less gravitational force on the same object, results in less weight. So, whatever weight you have on the surface of earth, that will be reduced on the surface of moon, and up to what extent it will be reduced? It will be reduced to 1/6 of its former value. Means whatever you have weight on earth, that will become 1/6 on the surface of moon. So this same thing is given in the question, and then it is asked that what is the weight in Newton of a 10 kilogram object on the surface of moon and on the earth. So mass of the object is given, that is 10 kilogram, and you have to calculate its weight on earth as well as on moon. Given, what is given? Mass of the object, small m, that is 10 kilogram, and acceleration due to gravity, small g, is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. It is not given in the question, but we have to remember it. You have to calculate weight of the object on the surface of earth, that is WE, and weight of the object on the surface of moon, WM. Now, what is the formula of weight on earth? It is equal to mg, means mass of the object into acceleration due to gravity on earth. So weight of the object on earth, WE, is equal to mass of the object, that is 10 kilogram, into acceleration due to gravity on earth, that is 9.8 meter per second square. Now, what is the product of 10 and 9.8? It is 98 Newton. So weight of the object on the surface of earth is 98 Newton. Now, what is the weight of this object on the surface of moon, WM, is equal to WE upon 6, means whatever the object has weight on the surface of earth, that becomes 1/6 on the surface of moon. So weight of the object on the surface of moon is equal to weight of the object on the surface of earth upon 6. WM is equal to weight on earth 98 Newton upon 6. Now divide it, we will get 16.33 Newton. So this is the weight of the object on the surface of moon, which is 1/6 of its value on the surface of earth. Question number 13. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity of 49 meter per second. Calculate the maximum height to which it rises. Second, the total time it takes to return to the surface of the earth. In question number 13, it is given that there is a ball which is thrown vertically upward with an initial velocity u 49 meter per second. So there is a ball which is thrown vertically upwards with this initial velocity u 49 meter per second. Now, when an object is thrown vertically upwards or it is made to fall vertically downwards During these movement, that object undergoes acceleration due to gravity, denoted with small g. If object is moving vertically upward, then it also experiences acceleration due to gravity but in downward direction, and it is moving in upward direction. So the direction of acceleration due to gravity is opposite to the direction of the motion of the object. So it will be in negative. Okay, and if object is moving downwards, then obviously it experiences an acceleration due to gravity in downward direction. So the direction of acceleration due to gravity and the direction of motion of the object both are downward, both are same. So acceleration due to gravity will be in positive. What is the value of acceleration due to gravity, small g, on earth? That is 9.8 meter per second square, and it will be in negative because object is moving upward and this acceleration due to gravity is produced in the object in downward direction. So it is opposite to the direction of the motion of the object. So it will be in negative. Now, when object is thrown vertically upwards, then after reaching to a certain height, it comes to stop. Then it falls back to the earth. So after reaching to a certain height, it finally stops for a moment. So its final velocity becomes 0 meter per second. In first part, it is asked that you have to calculate maximum height or distance up to which it rises. So we have to calculate height or distance up to which it rises. We have three equations of motion which we studied in chapter 8 as well as in 9. V is equal to u plus at, first equation of motion. S is equal to ut plus half at square, second equation of motion. 2as is equal to v square minus u square, this is third equation of motion. Now in this chapter we are talking about gravitational force, acceleration due to gravity. So when object is moving upward or downward, it experiences an acceleration due to gravity, means small g. So in these cases, simple acceleration is not produced. A special kind of acceleration is produced, that is acceleration due to gravity, denoted with small g. So in place of A, we will write small g while dealing with acceleration due to gravity. Now we have to find out maximum height or distance up to which ball rises. For that, can we use second equation of motion, because here S is there and we have to find out S. See, U is given, T is not given, so we cannot apply it. Third equation of motion, G is given, S we have to find out, V and U are given. So we will apply third equation of motion, that is 2gs is equal to V square minus U square. 2 into G, G is minus 9.8 into S is equal to V square, V is 0 square minus U 49 square. 2 into minus 9.8, it is minus 19.6 into S is equal to square of 0, 0 minus square of 49, it is 2401. Now minus 19.6 S is equal to 0 minus 2401 minus 2401. Cancel minus with minus. Now 19.6 is getting multiplied by S. When it will be transferred from left to right, it will divide 2401. When you will divide 2401 by 19.6, you will get S is equal to 122.5 meter. So it is the total distance or height covered by the ball in upward movement. Up to this much height or distance it goes, that is 122.5 meter. Second part, in second part it is asked that what is the total time taken by ball to reach to the earth's surface. Firstly, that ball reaches to this height, then it again comes back to the earth's surface. So firstly we have to find in how much time it reaches to this height. For this we will apply first equation of motion, that is v is equal to u plus gt. V, what is v? 0 is equal to u 49 plus g minus 9.8 into t. 0 is equal to 49 plus minus 9.8 into t minus 9.8 t. Now this minus 9.8 t will be transferred from right to left. It will be in plus. 9.8 t is equal to 49. 9.8 is getting multiplied by t. When it will be transferred from left to right, it will divide 49. Remove this decimal sign. After decimal there is one digit, so add 1 0 here. Now divide 490 by 98. You will get 5. So what is the time taken by ball to reach to this height? That is 5 seconds. It means if it takes 5 seconds to reach this height, then from coming back this height it will take same 5 seconds. So 5 seconds in reaching to this height and again 5 seconds for coming back from this height to earth's surface. So total time taken by ball to reach earth surface is 5 seconds plus 5 seconds, total 10 seconds. So in total time of 10 seconds it reaches to maximum height and then comes back to earth's surface. So it takes total time of 10 seconds to reach earth's surface again. Now question number 14. A stone is released from the top of a tower of height 19.6 meter. Calculate its final velocity just before touching the ground. So what is given in the question? There is a tower of height 19.6 meter. At this height a stone is kept which is made to fall freely. Now it's obvious that if this stone is kept at a height of 19.6 meter and then it is made to fall freely downwards, then it covers a distance or height of 19.6 meter in downward direction. So what is the distance covered by the stone in downward direction? It is 19.6 meter, and before falling down it was at rest, so its initial velocity u is equal to 0 meter per second. During free fall it experiences an acceleration due to gravity small g, that is 9.8 meter per second square. It will be in plus positive. Why? Because object is moving downwards and the acceleration due to gravity is also producing in it in downward direction. So both have same downward direction, so acceleration due to gravity will be in plus. Now we have to calculate final velocity of this stone before touching the ground, because when it touches the ground obviously its velocity will be 0 meter per second, but It's obvious that when this object or stone will strike to the ground, will touch the ground, then it will come to rest and its velocity will be 0 meter per second. So it is mentioned in the question that before striking the ground, before touching the ground, you have to calculate the velocity, means you have to calculate final velocity. So for calculating final velocity, which equation of motion can we apply? First, v is equal to u plus gt, no, because t is not given. Second, s is equal to ut plus half gt square, no at all, t is not given here also. 2gs is equal to v square minus u square, yes. This equation of motion means third equation of motion we can apply. 2gs is equal to v square minus u square. 2 into g plus 9.8 into s 19.6 is equal to v. What is v? V is not given, we have to calculate it. So v square minus u, it's 0 square. 2 into 9.8, it's 19.6 into 19.6 is equal to v square minus square of 0, 0, and you know that v square minus 0, v square. If v square is 19.6 into 19.6, then v is under root 19.6 into 19.6. Then v is equal to 19.6 meter per second. This is the final velocity of the stone before touching the ground. This is all for today. Rest of the numericals we will solve in our coming class. Thank you. Have a nice day.